I think we're setting up for what could be one of the coldest starts to November that we've seen in several years. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about going back to around 2019, and really the Novembers after that, at least the starts, have been pretty warm. This would be really significant if it were to play out like this, with a lot of cold air moving down into parts of the central and eastern United States. We're still pretty far out on that. That's where we're looking at way down the road. Here's kind of where we are right now. We do have a pocket of some cold air aloft moving through the Great Lakes into the northeast as we move through the rest of the week. That's going to bring some showery conditions, maybe a few thunderstorms even today, but that moves east, and then we start to actually see some warmer temperatures start to build back. You can see the numbers all the way up into Canada getting warmer and warmer. This is a look at the 850 millibar level. This is a good level to see where that freezing temperature is once you get up at about 5,000 feet. So it also isn't affected by the warming and the cooling of the daytime. Gives you a better idea of where the coldest air loft is. I think we've got to watch what's happening toward the middle part of next week too. A piece of energy starts to move south. We also watch a little bit of cold air get tugged here into the mid-Atlantic. My question is, will that be cold enough to see some snow into the Appalachians? The GFS has been really strong in developing some kind of snow here. The European not. This is where things really start to split. I will tell you that both big global models have this idea of things turning much colder overall in general. I mean, look at this flow. This would put warmer temperatures into the southwest, but this opens the barn doors to some pretty cold air moving south. I want to flip over to the European because it tells a bit of a different story, and this is actually the AI version. We're going to take it out a little bit long range here through the weekend into next week. Some pretty warm air, though, here up into parts of the Hudson Bay and eastern Canada. It's not as warm as it looks here. These are height anomalies, so temperatures will be above average. It's not going to be like 90 degrees, what this looks like. But look what happens next week. The European also picking up on this idea of this cutoff low, surface low pressure developing somewhere here on the East Coast. It's not as cold as the GFS, but that's still pretty impressive to see as we head toward the 30th, 31st, and the 1st, and even the AI European. Now, once we get out pretty far, my question goes, is it really going to be this cold? Is it really going to get this below average? Let's wait and see. The models are showing it. The hints are there. I'm watching. I don't know that I'm a buyer yet, but I'm certainly shopping, and my confidence grows every day I see these models come out and advertise this. Let's walk you through the next several days across North America. We'll look at the big players on the table here. Just so much storminess across Alaska. That continues as we move through Thursday and Friday. We're watching this upper low and this cold pocket of air moving across the Great Lakes. That's going to bring some showers here. Overall, northwest flow aloft, keeping things relatively dry across the Central Plains, down into parts of the southeast. We are watching some showers start to move out of Texas as we head into Thursday. Some of these could be on the strong to severe side. More on that in just a second. But a lot of wind and a lot of rain moving ashore here into Alaska, down into British Columbia. Heavy rain, heavy mountain snow. It's going to be adding up in the order of feet here, and that continues as we head into Friday. This low lifts north into eastern Canada, up towards really the Hudson Bay, I'd say east of the Hudson Bay, and then we've got some showers and some snow showers behind it, some colder temperatures too into the parts of the northeast U.S., and then high pressure moves into the mid-Atlantic, keeping things relatively dry. Showers just on the doorstep, though. We start to see that work east into parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri as we head into the weekend. And another storm moves into the Pacific Northwest. This will bring snow levels down. Your atmospheric river really starting to take aim here into the Pacific Northwest. So this is going to keep the rain and the snow around. Several days of it too. And then it looks like we're going to stay stormy across this part of the country. Let's back this up just a little bit. We got this piece of cold air that starts to break off as we head in toward, maybe Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. How amplified does this get here along the East Coast? Something to keep an eye on. Notice the snow showing up here in the mountains. We're going to zoom in on that in just a moment too. And let's push this out pretty far in time. Don't pay attention to any particular storm at this point. I'm looking at the overall pattern. We're staying stormy in Alaska. We start to see some big ridging build just off the west coast. That actually pushes that moisture out of the northwest. But in response, cold air moving south. Is this our first big shot of cold air? This could bring some lake effect snow into parts of eastern Canada. Temperatures on the way down. I don't think it's going to last, even if it moves in for 5, 6, 8 days. You eventually will warm up. It's November, guys. Still, we're not into winter just yet. If you're brand new, hope you'll subscribe and come back. More to come on this as we head through the winter. If you're brand new, I used to be a chief meteorologist years ago, and I always loved winter forecasting. So if that's your thing, come back. We'll follow it as we go through the season. Let's dig into what's happening with this Is it a surprise snow? I don't know that it's a surprise snow yet. I'm not going to call it yet because it's just too far out. Here's what we do know over the next several days. Showers moving through the Great Lakes. We've talked about that. Here comes the rain increasing across the Deep South, across Mississippi, Alabama, as we head into the weekend, into the first part of next week. High pressure, keeping things cool and dry across the Northeast. Here's where it gets interesting. Tuesday into Wednesday of next week, you've got this trough digging in, some cold air aloft. In response to this, you're going to get surface low pressure developing right along the southeast coast. Is it going to be cold enough for some snow into the mountains of North Carolina, Western Virginia, Eastern West Virginia? I don't know. The European says no, it's going to be too warm, but the GFS is getting pretty aggressive with some snow showing up here. This was the overnight run. If you went back and look at yesterday's run, clearly it was a little bit of a different story. So I'm certainly not going to grab one model run from last night and go, oh, here we go. But this was yesterday's midday run. The fact that it was starting to show this similar pattern with low pressure developing along the coast. A lot of time, a lot of runway, but we'll be watching it. There's the cool air that we're looking at today across the Great Lakes into the Northeast. Another cold night tonight up into the upper Midwest. Temperatures tomorrow starting to warm up some across this region. Still relatively warm across the south. A lot of 70s and 80s. And then we stay cool into the Northeast. And then as we head into the weekend, temperatures starting to warm up. We're back up into the 50s across Wisconsin, even into Michigan and parts of northern Minnesota starting to warm up pretty nicely, back up into the 60s. And I'm going to let this run out in time. Look at the warmth heading into Sunday. 60s, even 70s, pushing back north into Kentucky. You can see the warm air spinning north too, out ahead of our next trough that swings in. And then again, this is the GFS heading into next week. It tries to bring that cold pocket of air aloft. Deepening low pressure would create some cold conditions, dynamic cooling on the backside. That's why the GFS is trying to put some snow into the mountains. It's still early. Let's go out in time. I want to show you what that real cold is looking like at the surface as we head towards the first part of November. Low temperatures dropping well below freezing, pretty far to the south. High temperatures, 30s and 40s. And then look at these overnight lows potentially as we head toward the 5th and the 6th. You're talking about near teens and a lot of freezing temperatures all the way into the deep south. A long way to go before we get there. Stay tuned. Thunderstorms possible tomorrow across Texas. That starts to pick up. And then on Friday, those hang around. We're going to stay quite stormy across the Lone Star State into New Mexico, into Oklahoma. Snow into the mountains of Colorado, where the snowmaking has been underway at the ski resorts. Won't be long. We're going to add a little bit of natural snow to those the base that's starting to build on the slopes out there. We're going to watch the storms, though, as we head into Thursday across Texas. Some of these could be strong to severe into parts of Oklahoma, too. The rain lifts north into Kansas and Missouri as we head into Friday, and then more storms on Friday across parts of Texas. Some of those could get on the strong to severe side. And then this cold pocket of air, you can sort of see how this is setting up. You've got stacked low pressure now just spinning across Oklahoma. And I think that's going to keep the showers around through Saturday, also into Sunday. Let's move a little bit further to the west. We're going to talk about that area of low pressure moving out of Colorado, but we're also going to look at what's happening across the Pacific Northwest. Rain chances going up. It's going to get windy too heading into Friday. Snow levels coming down as well as we head into the weekend. Big snow starting to go into the Canadian Rockies, and then the snow moves into the Cascades all the way down into the Sierra as we head into Saturday. Cold air aloft really starts to move in, and temperatures on the way down. Freezing levels coming down, snow levels on the way down, and that snow moves east. More snow into parts of Colorado. This snow isn't coming into Southern California, into the mountains of Arizona or the far southwest. It's not going to get cold here, but we will see some precipitation moving back again into the Pacific Northwest next week. It's just an onslaught here. It has begun, my friends.